Giants preseason football is here, and we got a lot to talk about, man, as the Giants face the Carolina Panthers and defeat them. I believe it was 21, the final score being 21-19. So 1-1 in the preseason so far. Man, there's so much to be excited about, so much that we've seen in this playoff game in particular that we didn't see last week, obviously with the starters being in. A lot of optimism coming from the New York Giants right now, especially from the fan base. I can't imagine being more excited for the New York Giants. I can't imagine the last time I was excited for the New York Giants going into a season from what we've seen in the preseason. But welcome in, everybody. If you guys are in the chat and just finished watching the preseason game with me, make sure you guys make yourself known in the chat. And let's start off, man. The Giants started their players. Now, a couple of guys did not go out there and play. I don't know if there's any players on the defense that didn't play, but I know for sure Saquon Barkley did not play as Matt Breida got the start. And man, it showed the Giants were not able to run the ball as efficiently as if Saquon Barkley was in the lineup. And that is exactly why we had to make sure we kept Saquon Barkley here, man, because I mean, whether it was Matt Breida, whether it was Eric Gray, who had a couple of good runs, and even Jashaun Corbin, who looked pretty good, but the stat line didn't really fare out too well. But we needed Saquon Barkley, and I'm happy that we have him on the team, because without him, you see what the production looks like. But let's focus on the positives. But let's talk about Daniel Jones and the starting offense, man. He was just on the money. Now, first of all, shout out to Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka, man. They know how to design an offense. When you watch, I can't wait to break down the film. If you guys don't know who I am, make sure you guys follow me on YouTube and Twitter, KidBlueRB27, both on YouTube and Twitter. Make sure you guys follow me there. But when I do break down the film, I know I'm going to be very, very impressed with the way Brian Daboll orchestrates his plays, makes it very easy for the quarterback, doesn't force Daniel Jones into making tough throws, and we've seen that in this game. Okay, he went 8 of 9 for 69 yards and a touchdown. He had that one incompletion, and that was to Darren Waller, an unfortunate drop. It was an accurate pass. Darren Waller, even you could argue he caught the ball. There's this whole, controversy. Is it a catch? Is it not? He made the catch, turned around, looked like he took 2 steps, fell to the ground, and then let the ball go. But I guess you got to go down with the ball for what I mean. I thought he was down, but he had one bad drop. Obviously, there's not to worry about with Darren Waller. He just got blindsided as soon as he turned around, and that was the only incompletion Daniel Jones had, and his day was done. And I think when you look at Daniel Jones, besides the accuracy in which he threw the ball, because we all know he's a talented thrower, look at the growth he had in pocket awareness, pocket presence, pocket movement. You've seen there was one play where he ran for a first down where he completely evaded an edge rusher, stepped up in the pocket, backed out, rolled out right, and ran for a first down. And that's something that we have been begging to see Daniel Jones for a couple of years now, and he has progressively gotten better at that. But like I said, Daniel Jones and the starting offense looked absolutely great. We even seen a little bit of Paris Campbell as well. Paris Campbell had an RPO catch on a slant. He looked very good. Darren Waller finished with 3 catches, 30 yards. Could have had like 40 if it wasn't for that drop. And I'm trying to think of any other wide receiver. Oh, Jalen Hyatt, of course, but he wasn't. I don't think he had that catch versus the first team. He had it with he did have it with the first team, but it was Tyrod Taylor who threw the ball. I mean, it was a fantastic route. I mean, for those of you guys that say that Jalen Hyatt can't run routes, I mean, that was me. But he completely made me eat my words there, man. Jalen Hyatt ran a great post corner route. I mean, Eric Rowe didn't even know where he was. He had about 10, 15 yards of separation, caught that touchdown. And, the Giants need to find a way to scheme up Jalen Hyatt. He is a very different receiver. Okay, he's not a guy that is a route running, genius or a route running, expert like a Sterling Shepard or something like that, guys that can work in those intermediate routes and kind of shift his way through the defense. He's a more of a straight line slicer type of dude, guy to just cut right through your zone defense or just beat you on man defense straight up. Jalen Hyatt is just a different receiver. I don't think the reason why Jalen Hyatt has been not getting a lot of yak yards, not getting a lot of production, is because they keep putting him on these short routes. Last week they put him on a wide receiver screen that was completely obvious. I could have seen that coming. I did see it coming. And he was knocked down 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Again, in this game, they gave him an end around on his first possession, an end around that was like knocked for 4 or 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. They have to find ways to get Jalen Hyatt the ball and kind of replicate his production and replicate what he was doing at Tennessee. He wasn't getting end arounds. He wasn't getting wide receiver screens and things like that. He was just going deep. He was running comeback routes, hitches, and that was the only short stuff that he would see. But you got to get him on these post corners. You got to get him on these posts. You got to get him on these fly routes. Evan Neal looking good tonight. And yeah, he did look good. He did give up a sack, unfortunately. And I know a lot of people are going to harp on Evan Neal and what he, the sack that he gave up, because it was kind of bad looking. He kind of misread a stunt play. He kind of fell for the guy going for the inside stunt and did not react in time to pay attention to the outside stunt. So that was on him. But besides that, him in pass protection looked very well. Daniel Jones had a lot of time. I believe it was the catch that Darren Waller dropped. I could be wrong about that. It was the catch that Darren Waller dropped where Daniel Jones, it seemed like he had like 5, 6, 7 seconds to just sit back with nobody in the area to throw that ball. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that's something that we want to see, man. That's something that we want to see. Bobby Okereke was looking good out there. He demolished running backs in pass protection. He like bulldozed Chuba Hubbard to get a pressure on the quarterback on the inside. He did well in blitzing. He did well stopping the run. He did well in coverage. I mean, he was the linebacker that we paid him to be. I mean, the Giants have had very bad luck as far as bringing in linebackers here, whether we draft them, pick them up in free agency, or sign them as a bigger free agent. You guys know a couple of linebackers in the past that we've had that have not worked out. Even guys that we took a chance on in years past that we drafted late, that haven't been up to the hype and how good Bobby O is, man. Bobby O is going to lead this league in tackles. Yeah, let's look at the box score real quick. As far as the quarterbacks go, I don't think it was that impressive as we seen last week. Like Tommy DeVito was really impressive last week. Tyrod Taylor, not so much. He threw that touchdown, but besides that, it was okay. He got sacked twice, but none of the other quarterbacks got sacked. The running game, guys. This is the problem. This is why we needed Saquon Barkley to stay. I know a lot of people say that running backs are very replaceable, and you do have a point with that. But when it comes to Saquon Barkley, I still call him a generational talent. When it comes to Saquon Barkley, it's very hard to replace him. Look at all these guys here. Eric Gray and James Robinson might be one of the slowest running back duos I've ever seen in my entire life. All right. Tyrod Taylor led the team in rushing right now. We had 25 attempts, and Tyrod Taylor had 3 of them, and we couldn't get someone to get over 21 yards. Okay. Daniel Jones had that 6-yard run again. That was a very impressive 6-yard run as he escaped pressure and escaped the sack. Jashaun Corbin was very well for us. He had a 9-yard, long run, but unfortunately the offensive line couldn't hold up for the other attempts, and it knocked his stats all the way down to 7 carries, 5 yards, and 0.7 yards per carry, which is yikes, right? Isaiah Hodgins looked good. This is the second straight week that Isaiah Hodgins has a catch short and breaks it out for a couple of more yards. So he proves that he can be a little bit slippery, and that's something that's fun to see. A lot of people may just consider him as a possession guy, but he looked pretty damn capable of slipping out of a tackle and gaining some extra yards for the second straight week now. Jalen Hyatt, obviously, with the touchdown. Darren Waller. Bryce Ford-Wheaton had two very impressive catches. He's one of those guys where I don't think is going to make the roster. They may try to keep him on the back end of the roster as like a 7th receiver. I just don't know how you're going to fit him on there. But because if you put him on the practice squad, he's gone for sure. But he had 2 very impressive catches. One on the sideline, and I think they both were around the sideline, if I'm not mistaken. That's all to note there in the Khalil Pimpleton had 2 catches for 18 yards. Shout out to him. Look at this. This is what I really wanted to get to. Further, Bobby Okereke. Okay, Bobby O had 7 tackles, and I could have sworn he was only in like 3 drives. I could have sworn they pulled him after like 3 drives or so. and he had 7 tackles already. Like, a lot of linebackers finish with 7 tackles. He had 7 tackles in like 3 drives. I don't even think he finished the quarter. I could be wrong about that, like I said. But after that, I just saw a lot of Carter Coughlin next to Micah McFadden, and then Darian Beavers after that. So shout out to him. Javarius Owens looked really good. He's continuing to impress. Cordell Flat, Timon Fox was good too. I believe he had a sack. He did. And who else had a sack? Kayvon Thibodeaux as well. And so, yeah, okay. I have to talk about. So I'm sorry if I'm all over the place. There's a lot to talk about here. Okay, we got to talk about Jordan Riley, man. We have to talk about Jordan Riley. He is the 1 tackle for loss, very solid tackle for loss, 3 tackles, 2 solo. All right. We have to talk about Jordan Riley. He is one of those guys. In every draft class, there's always that guy where like, okay, he's like a whatever pick, right? I thought of Jordan Riley as that whatever pick. And man, he's looking good right now, man. He is looking phenomenal. I mean, he is as a backup nose tackle, he's like replicating to the best of his ability what Dexter Lawrence would do. I'm not saying he's Dexter Lawrence. Nobody even think that I'm saying that. But what I'm saying is he's like the Dexter Lawrence of that third team defense. He is like that guy in the interior to cause chaos. In the run game, he was absolutely like unstoppable in the run game. He was constantly getting through, getting through the line when they're running inside zone. He was constantly leaking out. And especially when the quarterback is back to throw too, disrupting the pocket inside, forcing the quarterback to go outside. Like, it's very impressive what we're seeing from the rookie class, man. When you go to Deonte Banks, we forgot to talk about them, the 2 corners, the trio. Okay, we saw that. We saw the trio happen. A lot of people, we're all talking about the big controversy in training camp is seeing Trey Hawkins on the outside constantly with Adoree in the slot. Is this something that we are going to see in the regular season? And are they going to experiment with it, or are they going to start the season with it and go from there? And interesting things from Wink Martindale. He said that, listen, we want to play. I wish I had the video here. He said, we want to play our best 3 corners. And right now, those are our best 3 corners. And that's something that told me, hey, it looks like Trey Hawkins is going to start, and it looks like Adoree Jackson is going to go in the slot. And that solves a lot of problems, right? That solves the problems of the slot. The slot, Darnay Holmes and Cordell Flott, as much as we may like or hate them, they're not ready yet. They're not ready to, like, not that they're not ready. Darnay Holmes has been the starter for 4 years now, but just not up to the production. Imagine putting your number 1 corner in Adoree Jackson and putting him in the slot. That is a huge upgrade. If we're talking like Madden Ultimate Team, and you take a 69 overall Darnay Holmes and you plug in a, like, I don't know, 84, 85, 86 overall Adoree Jackson, that's like a huge upgrade for your slot corner, right? And then you go to Trey Hawkins, who has been excellent. Even in this game, excellent. He guarded up Adam Thielen excellently. And I'm very happy with his play. Okay, so that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for joining in today. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Like I said, you can follow me on KidBlue RB27 on all apps, social media. I'm pretty much only on YouTube and Twitter, but thank you guys so much for joining in, and we will see you guys next week against the Jets, and we will also be on Hard Knocks, which will be freaking cool. But yes, I like Eric Gray, but he's very slow. But thank you guys so much. I'm out. See you later.